Good morning. Okay, good morning. Um, my name is Maddie. This is Ryan. We're excited to do yoga with you this morning and um, to be in this series that we're calling Living Water, which might feel ironic for today because this week we're talking about specifically the flood in the book of Genesis. The flood that God sent to the earth that wiped out all of the earth except for Noah and his family and the people that were on the boat. And the reason that we're doing water this week is because I think that there's something really valuable and true about how water, in the sense, water was something that was really destructive um, and hard and dark. Um, but God was as faithful when He was making the flood happen as He was when Jesus was sent to the earth to come and die. It's the same God, in both settings. And in all of Scripture, the same God who will say is faithful in one part of the Bible is the same God who sent the flood. And so I think that there's actually something good and valuable about being in darkness, being in a season that feels destructive or difficult, which maybe is a season that you feel like you're in right now, as we're just really in the thick of this pandemic season. But yeah, the heart of this practice is to think about what might the Lord be doing that is still faithful, or what might He be teaching us in these seasons of darkness. And so we're going to do some poses that might feel a little more difficult physically, or even if they don't, we're just going to make some space as we do the poses to meditate on hard things, and instead of trying to get out of the hard thing as fast as possible, what good might come from being in the midst of the hard thing. So yeah, I'm going to try to talk a little less than I normally do as we go through these poses today, and just leave a lot of room for you to meditate, to seek the Lord as you're imitating a thing with your body. And so with that, we're going to get started. Down a little. Okay, we're going to begin lying on our backs. So your mat's not rolled out, roll out your mat. Come to lie on your back. Your legs are straight and long in front of you. I'm going to move so you can see mine. Okay, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to raise your right leg up into the air and grab it with both of your hands behind your knee. You're just going to hold it there. If it feels good to straighten it a bit, you can do that. Just begin to get a little bit of a stretch in your leg there. And then you're going to kind of use your right hand to push your right leg over your body so that it's crossed over your left hip. Your right hand just kind of grabs it, and your left hand might catch it as it comes across your body. But try to keep it as straight as you can. Good, and then send it to the other side. So this time your right hand is kind of catching it, and your left hand might be pushing it a little bit. But you can keep your back flat on the mat. Bring your right foot back down to the mat, and then we're going to do that same thing with your left foot. So your left foot comes straight up into the air, grab the back of it. Take one breath here. And then send your left leg over your body. So both of your hands are still holding it, maybe at least your right hand is catching it. Good. And then bring it to the left side of your body. Maybe your left hand catches it this time. Good. Bring your left leg back down to the mat and come up to sit. And just take a seated forward fold here. So on an inhale, you're going to grow tall in your middle body here, and your arms can reach overhead. And then on your exhale, reach down and touch your toes. Come out of your forward fold and just come to sit with a neutral spine. Begin to bend your right leg and then step it over your left. Good. And then you're going to twist on the outside of your right leg. So your left arm comes to the outside of your right leg. Your right arm starts to twist a little bit back behind you. And as you exhale, just begin to twist a little more towards the back there. Okay, and then we're going to take a quick counter twist. So your right arm now comes inside of your right leg. Your left arm reaches behind you and just get the counter twist in there. Good, and then we're going to take that on the other side. So you can step your right foot back down, your left leg now bends and steps over your right knee. On an inhale, you grow tall. On an exhale, your left arm reaches back behind you, your right arm maybe hooks on the outside of your left leg. Good, and then take a counter twist here, so your leg stays where it is, but your left arm now comes inside of it, and your right arm reaches back behind. Okay. Come back to a neutral spine. Your left leg straightens out next to your right one. We're going to take one more seated forward fold here. So on an inhale, you'll grow tall, really stretch your middle body, and on an exhale, you'll bend at the hips, reach down for your toes. Come into a tabletop position, so you can just kind of twist your legs out or do it by standing in front of crisscross. Good. So we're going to begin to move into some of the more difficult poses in our practice. We're just going to like hold them as a symbol of like instead of just rushing to get out of the hard thing, we're going to imitate like what if we stay in the hard thing for just a little bit, and we let the Lord do work in the midst of that instead of like waiting to get out of it and then expecting Him to work. And so just begin to come into your body and ask yourself like what the Lord might be saying to you or what He has been saying to you. You've been in the middle of a hard season. So you're going to step your legs back into a plank position and then send your hips up and back for downward facing dog. I'm just going to hold this here for about 7 breaths. Good. And now you're going to step your right leg up and reach it back towards the wall behind you. And then on an exhale, you're going to arch your spine and bend your right knee so that it comes and taps your right elbow, and then send it back up behind you. And then on your next exhale, bring your knee back in again, but touch it to your left elbow. Good, back up. And this time on your exhale, step your right leg down in between your hands. Good. And then come up to stand in a high lunge. So your knee can come up off the mat. Good. Your toes are both pointed, or are all pointed towards the front of your mat. From our high lunge here, we're going to come into eagle pose. We're going to do a lot of twisting. And so begin to step so that your weight is all in your right foot and your left foot is just hovering above the ground. You're going to bend your left knee and begin to wrap your left foot around your right leg. So you can do 1 wrap around or 2 wraps around, whatever is comfortable for you. And begin to sit back. Bend at your hips and sit as if you were sitting in a chair. And then if you can, see if you can wrap your left arm under your right arm and come so that your palms are touching. Yeah, good. And just sit in this eagle pose for like 3 breaths. So Good. So keep your eagle arms, but begin to unwrap your legs. Instead of stepping your left foot down to the mat, step it back behind you so that you come into high lunge again, but with these twisted eagle arms. See if you can move your elbows a little bit further away from your body. Stretch them just a little bit more. Good. And then come out of your eagle arms. From your high lunge, you're going to twist your feet so that all of your toes are facing the long edge of your mat. Good. And then we're going to come into a runner pose, is what it's called. And so you're going to begin to bend your left knee until you can come all the way down. The important thing here is to keep your left heel down as much as you can. So that might mean you don't bend too much, or maybe you walk your right foot out to give you a little more strength. First priority is that your left heel is on the ground. Second is as straight as your back can be. That's great, but doesn't need to be super straight. Good. Good. And just sit in like the difficulty of this pose for a second. Okay. From runner pose, you're going to kind of stay in it, but begin to turn your toes towards the short edge of your mat where your left foot is in front. And walk your hands down to the inside of your left foot. That makes sense? Yep, good. And then drop your right knee down to the mat. And you might, heel toe your left foot out just a little bit. You might also want to step your right foot back a little more, but you're going to come down into lizard pose. And so if it's already a stretch to be up on your palms, stay there. If you want a bit more of a stretch, you can do like Ryan is and come down onto your forearms. See if you can get your back leg to be straight. Good. Also see if you can keep your hips square to that short edge of your mat. So probably your left hip is in front of your right one. See if you can turn your right hip, bring your right hip forward a little bit. Straighten it out. You should feel a pretty deep stretch in the inside of your legs here. Take two more. See if you can take some calming breaths in the midst of like a difficult thing. Good, and then come back up onto your hands. Step your left foot back so that it meets your right and push up into a downward facing dog. And then drop down into child's pose. So your knees will come down to the ground, your hips sink back, your arms reach long in front of you. And if you didn't get to take some like soothing breaths in the midst of the difficult poses, take them down. So just breathe here. Good. We're going to take that little flow on the left side now. And so when you're ready, make your way up into a downward facing dog again. So your toes tuck, send your hips up and back. And again, we're going to take like 7 breaths here. So just get comfortable in the midst of this discomfort. One more breath. And then step your left leg long behind you, up in the air, reaching back towards that back wall. Good. And on an exhale, you're going to bend your right knee and come to tap your left knee and tap your left elbow. Send your left leg back up. Come in and tap your right elbow. Send it back up. You can do it. And then step it down in between your hands. Good job. Come into a high lunge here. So your good. Your right knee is off the mat. Your left knee is bent and strong. We're going to come into eagle. So pick your right leg up and begin to wrap it around your left leg as you bend at your hips into a chair pose. And then if you feel like you're able, tuck your right arm under your left arm, twist them and see if you can get your palms to touch. Sink just a little bit deeper in your hips. So good. and then untwist your right leg and step it back into a high lunge. Keep those eagle arms. See if you can pull your elbows just a little bit further away from your body. You can totally do it. Good, and then release your eagle arms. We're going to move into runner's pose again. So turn your feet so that they're facing the wide edge of your mat, and this time begin to bend into your right leg. So remember, your right heel stays on the mat, and you try to keep your back as straight as you can, and then bend to whatever degree your legs will allow you. Good. Take one more breath here. And now we're going to take that lizard pose on this side. And so you're going to begin to turn your feet so that your toes are facing the short edge of your mat. Straighten your left leg, drop your left knee down to the mat. Untuck your toes, get into a comfortable position, and maybe even come down onto your forearms here in lizard. Remember to keep both of your hips square. So maybe pull your left hip forward a bit, or even see if you can move your right hip back to get those hips even. This is the last of our really difficult stretching poses. So just take a few more breaths here. Meditate on the things that the Lord might be doing in the midst of the difficulty. Step your right foot back to be with your left. Send your hips up for downward facing dog, but only long enough so that you can then send them down into child's pose. So knees drop down to the mat, hips sink back. Take one breath here, and then come up into a tabletop position. From your tabletop, swing your legs to one side and sit your hips down so that you're just sitting on the mat. Good. And then bend your knees with your toe on the mat out in front of you, and you're just gonna windshield wiper your legs here. So you just did a lot of stretching on those inner and outer parts of your upper leg, and so just move them back and forth a little bit here. You can be as slow or as fast as you need. Good. And then come back to neutrally bent legs and straighten both of your legs out long in front of you. Your spine is still straight and tall and strong. Bend your left knee so that the inside of your left foot is touching the inside of your right leg. Good. And on an inhale, you're going to grow tall and bring your arms up overhead. On an exhale, you're going to reach towards that right foot. So as much bending at the hips as you can do. Good. Come back up to sit. And we're just going to switch sides. So extend your left leg long in front of you. Your right leg bends and meets the inside of your left one. On an inhale, grow tall. And on an exhale, reach in front of you, bending at the waist there. And reach towards those left toes. Good. Come back up. And extend your right leg now so that both are long in front of you. And take one more seated forward fold here. So inhale, grow tall. Exhale, bend. Good. We're going to come to lie on our backs, but bend your knees so that your heels are pretty close to your butt on the ground there. we're going to come into bridge pose here. So get comfortable first. Don't go quite yet. Drop your shoulders into the mat a little bit. Make sure your hips are square. Maybe your fingers like brush the backs of your heels. And then when you're ready, on an inhale, you're going to lift your hips and your belly up towards the sky as if there's like a string from the ceiling that's connected to your belly button and it's pulling you up. And just hold bridge pose here. One thing that I was thinking as I was preparing this practice in regards to the flood is that the flood felt like very destructive and like ended a ton of lives. And I think a lot of people whose lives were ended would have said that the flood wasn't good. But God sent the flood because He's a God of justice, and there's a lot of injustice happening, and He like took care of it with the flood. You can come out of your bridge pose, and I'll finish that thought. Stretch your legs out long in front of you, and stretch your arms up long behind you. And point your toes so that you're like trying to reach with them towards the wall that's in front of you, and pull your arms so that they're trying to reach the wall behind you. Just stretch your whole body here. But yeah, I was just thinking like our God is a God of justice, one who cares that justice like happens. And so the flood, while like seemed bad and did a lot of things that we would call like bad and damaging, also was God's way of bringing justice to a really like broken and unjust world. And I think that that's encouraging, like especially this week as we, I think that there's a lot of like damaging to like current systems that we have and like ways of thought that like they just need to be broken, and that might feel really bad. But like that justice would come out of them is still really good and like worth the brokenness. And so that's just like a thought I have as we sit in this like brokenness that feels bad, but where the Lord might be doing something really good. And then the second to last pose that we always do in our practice is called Happy Baby. So you're going to bring your knees up into your chest and your knees. Your hands grab the outside edges of your feet. Either from the inside of your knees or the outside, and you just rock back and forth. Let go of whatever you're still holding on to as we move through this practice. Any like unresolved darkness, which isn't to say that like all darkness is good or we should have resolved it in the last 20 minutes, but if there are things that the Lord is trying to say to you that you've chosen not to hear yet, maybe this is the time to receive that. And then when you're ready, you just stretch your legs long in front of you, your hands drop down to your side. We're going to relax into Shavasana here. So, looking at your head, close your eyes, soften the muscles around your eyes. Drop your tongue from the roof of your mouth and relax your jaw. Put your shoulders like heavy into the mat. Same with your belly and your hips, even the backs of your legs. Let them just sink down into the floor. If you're like holding your ankles in a certain way, release them. Maybe let your feet fall to the sides or in front of you. body slowly, beginning to wiggle those toes, roll your ankles. And you can start to bring some of it into your legs, your wrists, and your fingers. Begin to deepen your breathing again. When you're ready, come up to sit. Thanks so much for practicing with us and yeah, for bearing with us in all of these like scenery changes and just like figuring out like what I want this space of yoga to be. So I'm really glad that you're here and I'll see you next week.